Well, today I'm sharing 4 new recipes. These are going to be simple family dinners that you can make any day of the week. So whether you're busy during the week with work or running kids around, or you just want to have a lazy weekend and you don't want to have to put much effort into dinner, these recipes will meet all occasions. Sometimes it's nice just to have some new dinner ideas, so make sure to stick around. And hey, if we haven't met before, my name is Ange, welcome, and this is the Menu Made Kitchen. Okay, well, I had to share this dinner idea with you first. This is my mama's recipe, her lazy lasagna. I actually grew up on this recipe and my mom made it often when she was feeling lazy, but it was still such a comforting dinner. It was always delicious. I've made just a couple little tweaks to it over the years, but it still is so good and I think you're really gonna enjoy it. So for our lazy lasagna, I gotta start by getting my noodles cooked. I was gonna use my microwave pasta maker, but it wouldn't fit all of the noodles. So what I'm gonna use is, I found these little mini lasagna noodles in my bulk section at the grocery store. But the original recipe that my mom makes is actually with egg noodles. So use whatever kind of medium shaped pasta, but I thought that these would be fun. So I need to get this to a boil. I'll add a little bit of salt and then we'll throw in our noodles and cook it about 9 minutes, just until al dente. While the pasta is going, I'm gonna get our beef cooked up. So I've got 1 pound of lean ground beef, or you can use ground turkey. I'm also gonna add in about a half a cup of chopped up yellow onion. All right, ground beef and onions are cooked, and as you can see, there's like little to no grease in the pan, so I'm just gonna leave what's left in there, and then we're gonna add in a whole jar, 24 ounce of tomato basil pasta sauce. Use your favorite brand. I like to add a splash of water to my jar just to get that extra stuff off the sides. All right, we'll give this a stir. Just going to heat the pasta sauce through for another couple minutes, and this portion will be ready to go. Meanwhile, I did drain my noodles. I'm going to add them back to the pot. And like I said, you really want to make sure that you cook these al dente because we're going to be stirring some ingredients in here and you don't want to break up the pasta. So first thing we're going to do is I have a half a teaspoon of salt and a half a teaspoon of pepper. We're also going to add in 2 tablespoons of prepared pesto. If you don't have pesto, don't run to the store just to get that if you have all the other ingredients, because the original recipe does not call for this. This is just something that I've added over the years. If I have it on hand, I do it because it just adds great flavor. And then we're also going to add in 1 cup of sour cream. Really simple. I remember as a kid growing up, and whenever my mom made lazy lasagna, it was just so good. I was definitely excited for that meal. All right, we'll fold all of this together until it's nice and creamy and combined. I have to turn this way so I can hold on to the handle. You can definitely add more fresh herbs or other seasonings, but the whole point is having something kind of lazy you can throw together on a weeknight if you're busy, or on a weekend when you're like, you know what, I don't want to cook this weekend, but I want to have something cozy. This is just so good because it's very fast and easy. You do have to still cook, but it's simple cooking. Okay, let's start pulling this together. So we are going to layer this kind of like we would a lasagna. I'm going to put down half the noodles first into my baking dish, and I have sprayed this with nonstick spray. You're going to want a 9x13 baking dish, unless you decide to cut the recipe in half. Oh man, this so takes me back to my childhood. Okay, that looks like about half. All right, and then we're gonna do half of our meat sauce. I'll use the back of my spoon just to kind of spread it out a little bit. And then we're gonna add 1 cup of mozzarella cheese over the meat sauce. And I shredded the mozzarella myself. I always feel like, one, it's a lot cheaper than buying the packets, but it just melts so much better. I'm going to repeat with the rest of the steps: our noodles, meat sauce, and then our cheese. And then we'll come back and talk about baking times. What actually makes this lazy lasagna is you don't even have to put this in the oven. You can cover this and put this in the microwave for like less than 10 minutes. And it'll be hot and bubbly and delicious. No need to even turn on the oven, but I am actually gonna bake this today. So you can do it both ways depending on how fast you want this on the table. I'm gonna cover this with foil. I've got my oven set at 350, and we're gonna bake this about 20 minutes. I'll pull the foil off and then bake another 5 minutes, maybe to brown up the top a little bit. We'll probably add a little bit of fresh parsley because that's just what I do, and then we get to taste it. Okay, check that out. Isn't that so beautiful? I think what I love so much about this lazy lasagna is it holds together well like a lasagna. It's not, you would think of lazy lasagna as being kind of like goulash, but you can cut it into squares just like lasagna. All right, I have tried this before, obviously, but I haven't tried it with you. Here we go. This definitely reminds me of my mom in my childhood and the wonderful recipes that she used to make. And I love that I get to make them. I will say that pesto sauce in there, it really just bumps up the flavor. So if you have it on hand, use it. If you don't, it's still gonna be really, really good. This is such a great recipe. I think you're really gonna enjoy how easy it is to make, and it's perfect for any night of the week. I'm excited for you to try it. So for our vegetarian sheet pan quesadillas, I thought it'd be fun to do like a meatless dinner idea. And I love sheet pan quesadillas. So I have a can of black beans. These are refried black beans. You can use regular refried beans, but I really like the texture of the black beans. And I'm actually not going to use this entire can. If I was making a large sheet pan of the sheet pan quesadillas, I would use the whole can. So probably like 3/4 of the can, and then I'll just save the rest for another meal. I want to make sure to season these beans really well, so I have a 1/2 teaspoon of chili powder, cumin, and oregano, and then just a pinch of salt and pepper. And then I did a boo-boo. I actually bought diced jalapenos, not my green chilies that are supposed to go into this. So definitely don't want to use that entire can. It would be too spicy, but I want those flavors. So I'm going to do about a tablespoon of the diced jalapenos, and then if you do green chilies, you're going to want to use almost the entire can. And you might be wondering, why don't you just buy the green chilies with refried beans? It just doesn't have as much flavor if you just put the two separate in there. So that's why. And then I'm going to add just a couple dashes of Tabasco sauce. Now that is it for the beans. So I'm going to get this mixed up. Okay, that looks good. Let's grab our sheet pan. I have my 1/4 sheet pan here. I also have another 1/4 sheet pan, and I'm going to put this in the oven so it gets nice and hot before we add it to the top of the quesadillas. Now, if you don't have two pans that are the same size, you could heat up a cast iron skillet or like an oven safe skillet to put over the top of the quesadilla. So really important, we got to lay down a little bit of oil on the bottom of our pan, and then they don't stick to the pan. So for our tortillas, I'm going to lay down 2 tortillas on each end, and these are 10-inch size flour tortillas. You're going to want to make sure that half of the tortilla is hanging over the edge. Grab our other one, and then we're going to lay another tortilla right on top. That'll cover the rest of the surface, and then we'll add 2 more tortillas on the sides. I wanted to adjust my camera just so you could see kind of the whole picture. So before I start putting my beans on, I just go through and I make sure that all of my ends are going to cover the inside of the filling first, because if you get your toppings on there or your filling and then you go to close it and it's not covering it, you can't really do anything about it. So it looks like all mine is going to cover just fine. So let's pull this back open. I just think that sheet pan quesadillas are so fun. What a great way to make quesadillas. So first and foremost, we are going to add down our beans. And really what's great about quesadillas is you can have so much fun with the filling. So add the things that you love. Add chicken, add beef, add veggies. Just make it your own. I think that just getting the general idea of how to fold and do the tortilla situation. Okay, make sure to get all the way to the edge there in those corners. All right, and then next I'm going to add down some green onions. You could do red, white, or no onions if you don't like that flavor. And then next I have a can of this Mexican corn. It has peppers in it. I'm not going to use the entire can, maybe half of it. And then I drained it really well just to make sure I didn't get any liquid in here. So scatter that on there. I think that looks pretty good. And then the only thing left to do is to add some cheese. So I have some shredded Monterey Jack and cheddar cheese, which is basically Colby Jack. I really love the combination of the two. I feel like in Mexican, it just really melts beautifully. So use whatever you like though. Quesadillas have to have a lot of cheese though, so don't be afraid to add lots of cheese. Okay, that is it. And let's be honest, this looks so delicious. But I feel like the best part about quesadillas or tacos or burritos is really the extra toppings like the fresh avocado and sour cream and salsa. So make sure to set out all those goodies. So you can see I'm just folding everything in and you have this perfect little sheet pan quesadilla situation. How cool. We do need to make sure to oil the top of this a little bit. All right, we'll brush on a little more oil. And then the only thing left to do is I have my hot sheet pan that I've had in the oven, and I'm gonna place it right on top of my tortillas. And I don't know if you can hear that little bit of sizzle, but you don't have to do this, but I feel like it just kind of speeds up that process in crisping the top. All right, we are gonna get these in the oven. I have it set at 425 and we're gonna bake them about 20 minutes. We'll pull this top sheet pan off, and if it still needs some crisping on top, we'll let it go another 5 minutes. And then we're gonna serve it up with some good toppings, and then we get to taste it. Here we go. So I got myself a little bit of salsa and sour cream. All right, and then also make sure you don't overfill the inside, otherwise they won't stay together. Okay. I'm gonna flip this around. That is just fantastic. I love that just a few ingredients can make a delicious dinner like this. So you don't need a ton of ingredients. I love the combination of the creamy seasoned beans with the corn and then the cheese. This is really, really good. I think you're gonna love it, and have play with the filling. Have fun with the filling and play with the ingredients and just make it your own, because you know, quesadillas are just one of those recipes that you can do whatever you want to it and it'll be delicious. I'm excited for you to try these. Okay, so for our spinach tortellini chicken soup, we're going to start by adding some oil and butter to our pot here. I have a tablespoon of oil, or a tablespoon of butter, and then we have a tablespoon of olive oil. Get our butter melted. Okay, we have 1 small onion here I diced. We're also going to add in about 2 cups of sliced carrots. This is 4 medium carrots. I have 3 celery stalks that I've sliced. All right, we're going to saute our carrots, celery, and onion for maybe like 4 or 5 minutes. It doesn't have to be complete, like the veggies don't have to be completely soft, but just a little bit. All right, veggies have softened a bit. So now we're going to add in 2 garlic cloves that I've minced. I'm going to cook the garlic for like 30 seconds. And then this is going to help thicken the soup. I have a 1/4 cup of all-purpose flour. And then for our seasonings, I have 1½ teaspoons of Italian seasoning, a 1/2 teaspoon of rosemary, and a 1/2 teaspoon of thyme. And then I also have a 1/2 teaspoon each of salt and pepper. So at this point, I want to cook our flour for about a minute, just so there's no raw flour taste. And our seasonings will kind of toast a little bit. So now we're going to add in about 2½ cups of shredded chicken, so about 1 pound. And this is cooked, obviously cooked if it's shredded. But you can definitely throw in a couple of chicken breasts raw into here, or chicken thighs. Add the broth and then cook it that way. But I had this already shredded, so it's perfect for like a rotisserie chicken or leftover chicken like I'm using. Really easy. And then we're going to add in 6 cups of chicken stock. Okay, that was 4, and here is 6. Okay, I'm gonna hike the heat up just a little bit so I can get this boiling. I'm also gonna add in 2 bay leaves. Once this comes to a boil, I'm gonna let it cook about 5 minutes. It'll finish softening the carrots, and the chicken will be infused with all that delicious broth. The soup will kind of thicken a little bit. Did I already say that? And then we will add in just a handful more ingredients, just a few more, and it is gonna be ready to serve. So pretty fast and easy. All right, our soup is boiling. So we will see you back here in about 5 minutes. Well, 5 minutes my time. And then we will finish this off. We are ready to add our tortellini. So I have this spinach stuffed tortellini with ricotta, mozzarella, and Parmesan cheese. You can also just use regular cheese tortellini, but I really wanted to do the spinach. So we're gonna add in this whole 10-ounce package. In go our tortellini. So this step does not take long at all. Our tortellini need to cook about 3 or 4 minutes. That's what it says on the package. So just follow the manufacturer's instructions for cooking your tortellini, because I know that every brand has a little different sizes. Once these are cooked, we're gonna add in a little bit of half and half to make it kind of creamy, some Parmesan cheese, and then we'll finish it off with parsley. Our tortellini is cooked. I actually pulled one out to make sure that it was perfectly done. So I completely turned off the heat because this will continue to simmer a little bit. Now we're gonna add in a 1/3 cup of grated Parmesan cheese. And then I also have 2/3 cup of half and half. I'm gonna stir this first and get the cheese melted and everything combined, and then we'll finish off with our parsley. Now, you definitely don't have to add the half and half. You could just stop with the chicken broth and it would be so yummy. But I definitely wanted a nice, thick, creamy style soup. And then we're gonna add in a 1/4 cup of chopped up fresh parsley. At this point, you could also do spinach, but with the spinach being in the tortellini, I didn't feel like it was necessary, but I love to add the greens to the soup. I just think it makes the colors pop, and everybody wants to dive in when food looks like this. I think so anyway. Okay, this is ready to serve. Does this not look so yummy? And then I toasted myself some sourdough bread, put a little butter on it. Gotta have some crispy bread with your soup. All right, let's try the soup first. Smells so good. That has so much flavor. That is an amazing soup. It kind of reminds me of a soup that is at one of our local restaurants that my husband and I go to. They make this chicken pot pie soup, and it is just fantastic, and it definitely reminds me of this. All right, I'm gonna try it with my bread. I think I got this a little bit too crispy. What a delicious dinner. Super easy, great for weeknights or just a cozy night in. This is gonna make awesome leftovers. I can't wait to have this for lunch, and I can't wait for you to try it. So for our slow cooker chicken enchiladas, I'm gonna start by sauteing our onion and garlic first. You can definitely throw all of the ingredients in a bowl and mix it up and skip this step, but I really like doing the cooked onions first. So we've got 1 tablespoon of olive oil, and then we have a small onion chopped up. Okay, and all we need to do is cook the onions like maybe 3 or 4 minutes. Onions are softened, and you know when they're like the perfect doneness when they start to get a little bit translucent. And now we're gonna add in 2 teaspoons or 2 small garlic cloves minced. And then we're also gonna add in 1 tablespoon of taco seasoning. And we're just gonna toast the taco seasoning, kind of cook the garlic a little bit for like 30 seconds. Now we're gonna add in the rest of our ingredients minus our corn tortillas and cheese. So I've got a 10-ounce can of mild enchilada sauce. I also have a 10-ounce can of green enchilada sauce. This is also mild. I love the combination of the green and red together. It's so good. If you haven't tried that, it's really delicious. We're also gonna add in a 1/4 cup of salsa. I'm gonna do a 1/4 cup of full-fat Greek yogurt, but you can do sour cream. We're gonna add in 1 15-ounce can of black beans. I've drained and rinsed these. And then we're gonna add in 2 cups of shredded cooked chicken. Okay, so let's stir all of this together. And basically we are creating kind of our sauce that's gonna go in between our corn tortillas and cheese. All right, that is good and combined, so let's head over to the slow cooker. So you're gonna want a 6-quart slow cooker. I'm gonna spray the bottom just a scotch with some olive oil just to make sure that our corn tortillas don't stick. I don't think that they will because this is kind of a non-stick insert, but just to be safe. So we're gonna add 4 corn tortillas to the bottom here. And I'm gonna have to break up my other two just to make them fit. You want to make sure basically the entire bottom is covered. And it's okay if they overlap or if it looks like we're doing too many tortillas. That's what you want. We are going to add about 1/3 of our chicken mixture over the top of our tortillas because we're going to do 2 more layers. That should be good. And just spread it out. And then we're going to add about 1/2 cup of cheese. Feel free to do whatever kind of cheese you like. I'm just keeping it simple with this cheddar cheese. All right, so let's repeat the layers 2 more times. All right, this is ready to go. I'm actually going to cook this on high for about 2 or 3 hours. You can also do low for like 3 to 5 hours. I'm going to serve this with a really simple avocado corn tomato salad. It's already on my website and I'll make sure to link it below. Really simple. I think it's going to be delicious with these enchiladas and I can't wait to try them with you. Okay, check this out. Isn't that beautiful? And then I made my avocado corn and tomato salad. And like I said, that's in the description. So it's linked to my blog. So good. And I think it'll be the perfect thing with this. So I cooked this about 2.5 hours. That's all it needed on high. And then my slow cooker went on the warm setting. Okay, here we go. The flavors in that. It is like the perfect combination of everything. I feel like the green enchilada sauce gives it just a touch of sweetness with the red enchilada sauce, which is a little more, I know, it's just richer. But this is great. And the beans and all that chicken and the soft corn tortillas, it's just a delicious combination. And what an easy thing to put in the slow cooker. What a great recipe to have any night of the week. Whether you're having a lazy weekend or a busy weeknight, this is the perfect recipe. Well, I hope you're inspired after today's video to add some new dinner ideas to your menu. Don't forget, all the recipe links are in the descriptions. And if you're new here, I'd love for you to be part of my YouTube family. Make sure to subscribe. I hope you have a really blessed week. We will definitely see you next time.